UB News, all praise to the Most High. Much love to all my followers who have been supporting me. So today I have a special guest, my younger brother, DaaayTripppers. What's up, bro?
What up?
Hey,
How's
man.
it going, sir?
Hey, I'm good, bro. I'm good. You know, we just started releasing the Field of Beasts mixtape, aka instrumental album. And first of all, man, the joint is dope, man. I just want to say, bro, that shit is fire, bruh.
Hey, appreciate it, man. Appreciate the opportunity to be able to, you know what I'm saying, be the soundtrack to some ill shit going on. So,
well, I mean, I feel like your soundtrack makes my shit iller, bruh.
Hey, man, one hand washes the other. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. You know what's crazy, man? People been hitting me up, sending me messages like, yo, that DaaayTripppers beat, bruh. This beat, that beat. Yo, I need to get that beat, man. When are you dropping the album? So, you know, just to let you guys know, the Field of Beasts instrumental album is available. All these beats are by DaaayTripppers, man. They are hot to death. So, so many people are interested in your music and how you make your music. I figured, since we have just a little bit of time to talk to each other, that maybe we could go over, like, you know, some of your, I guess some of the music that's on the album, and maybe some of the inspiration behind some of the beats that you made. Because I know, like, you know, when we discuss naming the songs, I know most of the time, some of your beats don't even have names on them when we first look at them, or some of them are just named after samples. But I know for my followers, they're interested in the details behind something. So I know that they would be interested in how you make your music and everything like that. So what I think we should do is just let's talk about a few of the beats, and I'll give the guys just a little snippet of the beat. And if you want to purchase the album, it is 12/12 donation. A donation of $12.12 will get you all 12 beats. And every once in a while, for my super followers, I might just throw you an album because I know how much you've been showing love. And that's just how I show my appreciation. So, with that being said, man, we want to talk about a couple of these beats, man. The first beat, the Faces beat. The first time you named it was called Woo Lot of Chops. Could you just explain a little bit about this beat and the sound behind it?
Well, yeah, man. That's actually like one of my favorite beats, man. I have pretty specific memory of making that. It's funny because, like, when you make a lot, you know, you don't always remember the process or like where you was at. But that one, you know, kind of stuck with me. And the reason I called it Woo a Lot of Chops was because that shit was a lot of chops. And I guess for those who don't know what chops are or whatever, but it's basically like, you know, segments of a sample. You know what I'm saying? And that shit had like 100 segments, which is like, you know, about 3 times more than I usually have when I make a beat. So, you know, I took a long clip and broke the whole shit down into segments, and then, you know, pieced it back together to make the beat. And so basically, like, the reason I said Woo a Lot of Chops was because, man, it's a very tedious process cutting up that many, you know, sections. Like, it takes a minute, and you just kind of feel like, whoo, when you get done, like, because that's all like preparation for actually, you know, making the beat. So, you know, it took me a minute just to get it all together, and you know, I was like, oh man, when I finally got them all like set up so I could start working on the beat, I was like, ooh, geez, man, that shit was a lot. So, but yeah, and you know, that's just a sample. It's actually, the funny thing about that is that sample is actually from a Christian rock record. So, you know, it's just this old school dude from the late 60s. and he made a Christian rock record, but the samples are just crazy on there. So,
dope.
You know, yeah, and actually, that beat, It's the Truth, is off the same record. It's the same artist.
Same dude?
For both of them. Yeah, man.
Yo, that's
crazy.
Yeah, because It's the Truth, man, bro, goes so hard. That's how I was closing my stuff. And so when I hear that, that's just like, It's the Truth that's off a Christian rock album from the 60s.
Yeah, dude. It's wild, right?
Bro,
it's
that's
like,
crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you could that's the thing, man. That's the thing about manipulating, you know, samples and stuff is, you know, you can make it kind of do what you want it to do. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, even though it's a Christian rock record, I don't really consider myself a Christian, but I could still, like, you know, flip it to make it, you know, fit, you know, what we do. You know what I mean? So, man,
that shit was dope. I think that's exactly, it's almost as though you've made the best use out of that shit thus far.
Yo, hey, appreciate it, man. Yeah, I was zoning when I made that. Like, I remember sitting in the studio working on that beat, and shout out to my homie Nate, who came through and actually played some guitar on top of it. So when the beat starts, and you hear like the little guitar pluckings and stuff like that, that was a homie. I had him come through and record to a couple of those. He actually plays guitar on It's the Truth as well.
Oh, really? That's his guitar? That
yeah.
Oh, damn, son.
Yeah. So there's
that boy
a guitar
doing it, son. That's what's
man.
up.
So there's a guitar and the actual sample itself, and then I play his guitar on top of that. So yeah, man. Yeah, I was feeling it that day. Yeah, I was zoning that day for sure.
I think that's dope how you use multiple elements, down to a Christian rocker, down to one of your homies who plays the guitar, down to what you do by just, you know, production all together, man. That shit is dope, man. And I have to say, this beat in itself, this might have been one of the first beats in that batch that you sent me. And when I heard it, I was like, oh shit, this is the song. Like, this beat right here to me encompasses, I mean, really the mood and the theme of this project, I think more so than any beat. Not that the beats, like all of these beats match this project, but for some reason, this one stuck out to me the most, and that's why it's the first track.
Right, and I really, I really like, you know, how we changed the name of Faces, because I really, you know, it like the way you said it in the video, it just makes the whole thing make even more sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, it gives it even more direction. It gives it even more of a purpose. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I just really thought that was fly. Just like, that was a very good merging of our two ideas together.
No doubt.
To make one bigger idea. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that was dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. This is, you know, what's good, man. Just like us being able to come together and like mesh our styles on projects. You know, this is something that we just never had a chance. We just started doing this, bro. You know
I know, it's funny. Yeah, it's funny. It's like years of being on this planet and knowing each other, you know, and we wait until like we're not sharing a bunk bed or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Right. To like do this shit, but it's dope, man.
Yeah, man. You know, the timing is divine for whatever reason that we're in this place in our lives. I just think it, you know, it makes
no doubt, man, no doubt.
Definitely makes sense. So I'm gonna keep it moving, man, because I know you got stuff to do. Give us a little insight into this Father beat. Another beat that very, very well fits this project. And to my surprise, this is the Prince sample.
Yeah, man. And I really got to give shouts to my girlfriend, Jasmine. She's the one that put me on this sample. And she had been listening to, you know, she's like Prince's #1 fan, so I hear a lot of Prince hanging out with her. But, you know, she has this way of like sneaking shit that she wants me to sample like into the playlist. You know what I'm saying? Like she knows I'm gonna hear it and be like, oh shit, what is that? You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much exactly what happened. She just had it like chilling up on the computer on my little program. So I come home, you know what I'm saying, and press play, and I'm like, yo, what is this? You know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, yo, that's ill. And I'm just like, you know, I don't have any rules about what I'm going to choose to sample. You know, if it's dope, then it's getting got. I don't care who it is, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
How famous they are. And I'm just a huge fan of sampling, like, synthesizers and stuff because, you know, it's one thing to play a synthesizer on a song, and I don't want to get too technical, but, you know, there's a certain sonic quality and a texture, and there's a difference between playing your own synth and sampling a synth. It's like you get a different warmth to the sample. You get a different, you know, you get a different atmosphere, a different texture
right.
to how it's going to go down. I could have played those exact same notes of the exact same instrument, and it wouldn't have sounded as good. You know what I'm saying? So,
and sometimes it's the difference.
Know,
well, let me ask you, because you would know. You think it's like the difference between like a digital sound and an analog sound?
Yeah, I mean, you know, ultimately it all ends up digital. But yeah, there's a saying in the music world. It's called trash in, trash out. So if you sample trash in, you're only going to be able to get trash out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But if you sample gold in, you're going to get gold out. So yeah, there's something to be said about having an analog source material as opposed to a digital source material. You're guaranteed to have, you know, and so think about it, it's like, since, right, analog going in, they recorded that shit to tape. You know what I'm saying? So it's already got the warmth of tape and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? So when I sample it in, you know, there's so much more character and personality that a lot of people won't even really recognize until I showed you like what the opposite could be. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then open people's eyes and be like, oh, okay, I get it now. I understand why you did that, like you did it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's kind of where that's at, for sure.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that shit. Yeah, that shit fly, bro. That shit. Once again, and even it was like I recognized the sample, but didn't recognize. I was like, where have I heard this before? And then maybe
right.
I had only heard it as a song that, you know, when Pops used to play records. Maybe I heard it back in the. I don't know. It's like one of those back of my mind songs. I'm like, where is this sample?
Right. Yeah, I'm sure you've heard it before. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure you heard the actual song before at some point in your life. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's, you know, it's not like one of his hits, but you know, it's a Prince song. So you probably heard it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
B-side.
And yeah. And the cool thing, like I said, you know, I don't know why ain't nobody fuck with it or touch it before. Maybe they're just scared of Prince coming after him or something. You know what I'm saying? But I don't ever think about stuff like that. So
right.
For me, it's just like, you know, let's just see what we can do with this. And then yeah, like, you know, it was cool. Like, I knew immediately it was gonna be dope because I had that first little part, and then I put the drums on it, and I was, oh, okay. No, this is already snapping. And, yeah, so then I just worked in a couple other parts of the sample and actually played some keys with it, you know, just to kind of accompany it. Not be like too in the front, but just like, you know, be a nice little extra little piece to add, you know, to add some, you know, I don't know what the word, I hate to say like flavor and shit, sound like Queen Latifah or something, but, you know, just a little fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like,
flavor.
You know, yeah. just add a little squick, you know, squick.
Fucking Cathedral Jones face ass nigga.
Right. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just add a little extra little oomph to the joint. And, you know, also, you know, for me, it's like, you know, we got all these like people out here that say, you know, niggas that sample they aren't real musicians and they, you know, they can't do this and they can't do that. Well, I'm like, well, look at this. I mean, I found the key, I found the chord progressions, and I played that shit back over the top of it. So don't tell me I don't have any real skill, because only a nigga with real skill can do shit like that. So, you know, that's kind of like my middle finger to the anti-sample people out there in the world that be trying to shit on hip hop producers like, you know, we don't really know what we're doing. Nah, we do. We study just as much as they do, maybe even more. You know what I'm saying? So
right, because
that's kind of where that,
because you're working across platform genres.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know, they might know how to play, you know, a 7/8 time signature on some jazz shit, but they don't even know, like, you know, like when we sampling, man, we listening to everything. It's well, at least me, you know what I'm saying? I like to listen to every single thing I can find. And my library and database mentally of music and genre and style and artists and session musicians and producers is like super vast. Like my mind, I'm a library of that shit in my mind. You know what I'm saying? I can tell you what era, what equipment they were using, you know, all that type of shit. And that all informs how I attack a beat. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's kind of where that's at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's real. Is that still a thing where people are not giving producers respect for sampling? Is that still a thing where?
Oh, yeah,
really?
Yeah, definitely still a thing. It's mostly musicians that are, to be honest, man, it's musicians that are angry that they're playing, you know, a 45-minute set at a fucking coffee shop, and they feel and they can't get, like, I guess, larger recognition, and so they think it's our fault, you know, that they're like quote unquote real musicians, you know what I'm saying? And like, so they're basically just haters, man. And the reason I know that is, like, you know, I'd be on the internet looking at samples on YouTube or whatever, and you go to the comments, it's always one nigga in there just bashing. Because the people are like, they'll be like, you know, for instance, like a Jay Dilla sample or something, you'll go look at the sample, right? And then, like, the top 10 comments are like, man, Dilla flipped this. And then there's a guy responding like, oh, well, I wish he really played it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, it's real negative, haterish ass attitude. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And there's always at least one nigga in the comments talking that shit.
And,
you know what I'm saying?
And to even expound on what you have, like, that's kind of part of creativity. To take something, it's like this. You took something and you made it something else. It's not even, it's like, hey, it's a sample. That's only a part of an overall beat.
Yeah, the arrangement and everything, and like, they just don't have any idea because they probably never actually sat down to see what the real process is like, and that there's actually lots of musicianship and creativity. Right. Any producer that's worth his salt is gonna fucking, we take this shit serious, man. Just as serious as a guitar player takes his craft, we take our craft. We spend hours and hours and hours perfecting it, you know what I'm saying? So how dare you try to, negate the time and effort I spent to come up with this shit, you know what I'm saying? So, I think it's super lame, and I think it's one of those things where instead of like realizing your own faults and that you're actually just not that good, you make corny music, you want to try to blame the shit on people that sample. Because that's really what it comes down to. You know what I'm saying? Especially with these jazz cats, it's like all y'all do is play covers. Your whole set is another nigga's music. It's like, how original is that? Just because you know how to play it? You know what I'm saying? It's like, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're playing, Billie Holiday song. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, there ain't nothing original about the shit you doing. You know what I'm saying?
Like, you took a nigga's you took all the lyrics. You took everything. It's like I only took a little bit.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And like, there's just special skills that go from like the shit I do. Like take that Father beat, for instance. That beat is not, the original song is not in a, let's see, without being too technical. The bar structure of that song isn't, 4/4. It's not 4/4. It's not 4/4 measure, 4 bars and a loop. I had to make it that way. Right. You know what I'm saying? I had to take pieces and squeeze them in, or find the 4/4 inside of it and create the beat off of that, because it actually like goes around in a bigger circle. You know what I'm saying? So for me to construct it in hip hop form,
I absolutely do not know what you're saying, but continue.
Okay, so like, yeah, so basically like, you got to beat 4/4. It's like,
I get that part.
Like
I just don't. I don't know how to find. When you said like find the 4/4 within the beat, and then you kind of lost me, because I get what you're saying, but I don't know what you're saying.
Okay, so for instance, like one of the 4/4 obviously is the most popular time signature there is. Most songs are 4/4, so that's 4 beats per measure for 4 measures, right?
Right.
So it's like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then you repeat it 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Well, probably the second most famous or popular one is a 3/4 or 6/8. So that's like 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, right? So I could take, one of the bigger skills of like a good producer is like I could take one of those off signatures and turn them into 4/4 through various ways, various tricks, various cutting and pasting. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I could take, I could take something that's like it's going 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, and I could change it to where it's 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2, and you'll never notice the difference in the change. You know what I'm saying? So
I got you.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's another whole thing with the bars themselves. Like most stuff repeats after 4 bars, but like that Prince song, it repeats after like 7 bars, I think. So it's like I took pieces and then made it that. You know what I'm saying? So that type of shit. I could capture and put it into hip hop form when it's all over the place and not at all in hip hop form to begin with. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah.
Shit, that's dope. That's dope. All right, so obviously you've got the expertise. You've been doing beats for what, 20 years now? Almost 20 years? Because you were doing
next year it'll be 20. Yeah, next year it'll be 20 years.
Which is crazy because for those of you who don't know, this is my younger brother. So I've seen him my whole life make beats, and he was making beats at like 14. Was it 14 you started?
I made my first beat at 14, but then a couple years I got my actual own little sampler, so I started in earnest when I was 16.
Gotcha.
And I never stopped since. Yeah, that was the year 2000.
Got you.
When I got that.
It's 2019, guys, and so that's just all I'm saying is that's the amount of dedication that DaaayTripper has to the work. So it's not like this guy just started making beats 5 years ago, even 10 years ago. My bro has put in the time and the work, and now it's good that through what I do, you started to get a little bit of recognition, like outside of I think what recognition you normally had.
Yeah, I get the most avid, like other than the people that's like, kind of around me or seeing me perform live or any of that. The most support I get is from people that follow you. You know what I'm saying? Like the people that hit me up in the DMs and just like express, gratitude. That's the type of shit that keeps me going. It's people around the world that I've never met, that really dig it. They dig it more than the people that have, in my circle a lot of times.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Which is just crazy. It's like the people that's closest to you they get so used to you that, they kind of just get, you know what I'm saying? Like they're not impressed anymore because they know what you can do. So, these people that I've never met don't know me from Adam. You know what I'm saying? And they just like hit me up like, yo, this shit is dope. That's the shit that keeps me going, man. For real. Like, just it's a validation, and I don't, real validation comes from within. I'm always gonna make music. I'm not gonna stop just because people aren't paying attention. But it does, give me that fuel to just think like, yo, none of this wasn't a waste of time. You know what I'm saying? There's purpose to this. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And it's making a difference.
Right. And then to have it be the soundtrack to the shit you do is just like, to me, is just like real special. Not just from like, even if we weren't like blood family, it would still be special to me just to have it be a part of, something that's bigger than all of us. You know what I'm saying? So, that's just real cool. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, man. I think, like I said, man, I mentioned earlier, it's a beautiful thing that our arts match each other the way they do. So shit is,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man. This is, like I said, I don't know, for me, it's just exciting because I know we've got a lot of, like, we got doper shit to do together. You know what I mean? Like, we just getting started, man.
Right, exactly. Yeah, like, imagine, like, you know, when we get even further and we lock in even further,
yeah,
it's just gonna be stupid. You know what I'm saying?
It's gonna be crazy, bro. It really is,
man.
Because I mean, I think what people in your circle know this about you, and I think people are starting to recognize in my circle about you is that you're extremely dedicated to your work. Obviously, you've been doing this for almost 20 years, which is longer than what I've been doing. I've been doing this. Like this, like these truth videos are only 5 years old. These type of videos I've been doing for 5 years. Before I was a video maker, I was trying to make movies and TV shows, having to do music videos, things like that.
Right.
So, I mean, it took a certain level of sacrifice to even get here. So, in very many ways, I look up to you in terms of knowing what it takes to become really good at something. You know what I'm saying? You are a model for that. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that.
I appreciate it. But yeah, and at the same time, like, you know, I can see, you know, your progression as well. And I can tell that you spend, you know, you can just tell, man, you know, you look at somebody's work, you can just tell, like, this dude is, like, putting all the time in.
Right.
And it shows. You know what I'm saying? It shows.
Yeah. And, you know, I have to say, man, I see that from you, bro.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate it, man. You know what I'm saying?
I learned it from watching you.
Yeah, man. But yeah, I mean, I can draw a clear line of progression from watching your videos. Like, they just keep getting better and better. And I know that's because you spend hella time working on it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. It's like, you know, so it goes down to like a talent versus skill conversation. And a lot of people come up to me and say, like, you know, damn, man, you're just real talented. Oh yeah, you know, that's part of it, I guess. I think everybody has an innate talent. But are you spending time cultivating that shit, or are you spending time just hanging out and chilling and shit? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you know, the things that make it come off like natural talent. The only way I can make it look like natural talent is through practicing constantly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's skill has to be developed, and that's why I tell people, it's like, ain't nothing you can't do. You just gotta fucking actually, you know, dedicate, and you have to sacrifice stuff like hanging out with your homies or going out to the bar or the club or whatever.
Absolutely.
And get busy in the fucking studio. You know, that's where I'd rather be. You know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10, I'd rather be just at my crib working on my shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it does. And the same thing when people say, like, oh, man, dude, you're just so good at, like, you know, freestyling or something. I'm like, bro, I used to spend hours in front of the mirror rapping, kind of like just hours. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
It ain't like I, you know what I'm saying? It just came. You know what I'm saying? That's just practice. That's what I tell anybody that asks me any of those type of questions. I'm like, just practice. You'll get better. You'll see it. You'll get comfortable. You know what I mean? So,
hey, y'all heard that right there. Practice. It's one thing to have talent, like he says, but if you're not doing things to cultivate your craft, then, I mean, there's a million talented people out here.
Yeah, man. I mean, look at the world and the landscape of the world, man. It's like, the reason people look up to other people is because they're doing the shit that they don't want to do. But everybody's got that inside of them.
Right.
It's just, you're gonna see people that just, like, you know, they go to their 9 to 5, they go home, they watch Netflix and chill. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's just not gonna have that. They're not gonna have that body of work. They're not gonna, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, you know, you're not spending your time really pursuing your dream and your focus and your purpose and, you know, what your inclinations are. You know what I'm saying? And there's, you know, most of the world is like that. They rather just chill. I'm just, you know, I refuse to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. So, you make a good point. Even for me, I had to learn how to do that, especially when it comes to time management. If I wanted to get something done, I knew I was going to have to do it myself. And you had made a point earlier just about your favorite thing. Like, for me, my favorite thing to do is to be making my shit too. It's like,
right.
Especially like, you know, when when I'm in the middle of writing or editing and my mojo's popping and I'm creatively, I'm flowing, that's the best part, because honestly, that's the time that I feel the most, one with the creator. It's like, oh, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
This is like, I'm living, like, literally there are very few moments in our life that we live in our purpose. You know what I mean? And,
right.
you can live with purpose, but I mean, I do this all the time. Like, I work on this stuff all the time, but it's only 1% of the time that my mojo's popping. You feel me?
Literally, right. Like 9 out of 10 times when I call you, you're working. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like that's, that's what I like to hear, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I call you, he's like, yeah, man, I'm working on this video. I'm like, oh, okay, word. That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? Because like that's what it's all about. And like you said, they call him the creator. Well, what should you be doing? If you want to live a life in alignment with the creator, you should be creating. That's the only real God that's in us, in a way. We are creators. If we're not being creative, if we're not creating, what are we giving to the world?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's your gift. We're all blessed with it. You just gotta exercise that shit. You know what I'm saying? We all got it. So
yeah, man. That shit, I mean, it was very nicely put how you put it. We are here, we're to create. And part of our journey is finding the things that move us and that allow us to affect the world, around us. Right.
And then, sometimes I feel, I know people that they've had differing interests and they bounce back and forth between this and that, and they can't really decide what they really want to do. And I think that's a big issue in the world, is people that can't put their finger on exactly what they should be pursuing. And my answer to them is like, well, you can't just be bouncing around. You got to spend enough time to really know that that's not what you want to do.
Right.
And most people don't. They go in, they stick their toes in the water, but they don't get in the deep end with shit. It's like you're going to keep bouncing around. Your interests are going to keep changing because you haven't had enough dedication to really nail anything down. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
Sometimes I feel blessed because, like, I've known I was going to do music since I was 12 years old, since we were at our cousin's house on that karaoke machine. I never stopped since that moment. You know what I mean?
By the way, hey, so my little brother, he knew he was going to do music since, like, one of the first times we ever freestyled in our life, right? This little dude, this little nigga killed me and my cousin who are older than him. I'm talking about like the first time you freestyled.
Yeah, I was having a lot of fun.
I still remember that rap. I remember you had got there. What did you say? Something about your Sony Discman when I'm coming through my ride? Something I'm coming through with the drive-by. I was like, yo, this motherfucker killing us.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So I've always known since that moment, and I just loved music. So I was like, yo, this is what I'm doing, and I never stopped. You know what I'm saying? I never stopped. But I always tell people, because people do ask me, like, it's just so hard for me to figure out what it is I want to do. I'm like, well, pick one thing, go hard as fuck at it, and within like a couple years, you'll know that it's not for you.
Right.
But if you never spend the time to really try to go hard on something, you're never going to know. You're just going to be bouncing around for your whole life.
And you know what's funny, bro? And I think what people are, and I think, just to play the devil's advocate on the opposite side of what you're saying, I think a lot of people are like, well, if I go hard at something for 5 years and it turns out I don't love it, I just wasted 5 years. No, you didn't waste 5 years.
Nah, you didn't.
As a matter of fact, you're going to learn more through that process of going deep into something, which means that when you know you don't love it, guess what? The next thing that you go into, you're already prepared because you know what it takes to get good at something.
Exactly. Yeah. Like it's going to teach you a lot about yourself, and those things you can take with you for the rest of your life, and I learned from it. And so the other things that I do in my life, I can have I know what it takes, you know what I'm saying? Cause I learned from doing the music, So anything that I go at, you know, I know how much work it's going to take, what kind of dedication it takes to get there, and all that I learned through the process. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, it's not a waste at all. You're going to learn so much about yourself and what what your limits are, and you know all that, and what your real, what your grind really is, and how much you're really willing to put into something through that process. So it's not wasted at all. You're going to learn a whole lot. You're going to learn a whole lot. You'll be able to take those tools with you for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? So.
No doubt. And
man.
just to add on to what you're saying, it's like even with this, you know, like I talked about before, when I got out of school, you know, I was doing film. I had a little studio. I was shooting music videos, but ultimately that was a failure for me. But that failure led me here. You feel me? So you gotta fail forward. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's as simple as I can put it, or it could be put. Like sometimes you just have to freaking fail, guys. It's okay. Don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah, nobody's gonna really like look at you funny,
right? Like,
you know what I'm saying?
You suck, man.
Nobody's. Most people don't even care. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yeah.
You know the same way that people don't care when you're actually trying to succeed. They don't care.
Right.
They don't care.
Yeah. They're not. They got their own shit they're dealing with. Yeah. It's like.
Right.
Yeah. They're not gonna lose. They're not gonna get up in arms about you failing at something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So just go hard. Don't be afraid. You know, I think fear is another big thing. You know, people are scared of this, that, or the third. You know, and people think so much about fucking results. You know, the results come as a direct response from the work. You know what I'm saying? It's like you think about the wrong shit. Just live in the moment and give all you can to what you're doing at that time, and don't worry about what the results are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's you know.
I think you're right. I think it also cheapens your work as well.
Yeah, it's like if it's easy to get, is it really worth having? You know what I'm saying? It's like that shit, none of this shit comes easy. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we all have our dreams of, you know, what we want to ultimately be, and it's good to have an end goal or whatever, clearly defined goal in your mind about where you want to be. But at the same time, you know, it's just about attacking the day, you know, one day at a time. And before you know it, you'll get the results. I've had the privilege of like performing with like people I've looked up to in music, you know, along the years. You know what I'm saying? I'll never forget my first like big show. We opened up for Jizza. You know what I'm saying? And that shit was awesome, man. But it's like, you know, I never planned that was going to be what happened. It just happened. And the reason it happened is because we was putting the hell of work in. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were spending those times in the studio. We were doing those shows. We were getting out. We were performing every weekend and just working. And then we got a break. You know what I'm saying? But without all that time spent and all that work, we would have never got that break. You know, and then those breaks just keep coming. You know what I'm saying? So, and before you know it, we're doing, you know, festivals, and it's, you know, 4,000 people in the crowd, you know what I'm saying? But all the work, you know, the 15 years of work that led up to that is what led to that. Without that 15 years of just grinding my ass off, I wouldn't have had those opportunities. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you can't be results driven. That's the wrong way to look at it. You got to be driven by doing the work. And honestly, that's what I enjoy the most. Like, I love performing. Don't get me wrong, and I love, you know, getting paid for a beat. If I sell somebody a beat, that's all good. You know what I'm saying? But my most exciting times are when I'm in that studio, in the moment. You can't get those back, and you can't pay for those. Like, those are just, like you said, those are divine moments. You know what I'm saying? So that's my most excited. Like, when I when it clicks and I see, oh, this beat is dope. Just like, that's a spiritual experience. You know what I'm saying? So. Yep. That's what it's all about for me.
Yep. Hey, you're right. Those beats do be a spiritual experience. And speaking of beats that are spiritual experiences, bro, I think everybody's favorite beat on this album from what I hear, is Grandmommy Don't Play.
Oh,
Bruh, that shit.
That was a fun one.
Bruh, that shit is fire. And listen, everybody's like, yo, I need that Grandmommy Don't Play, bruh. I got that shit on repeat.
That's what's up. Yeah, that was a fun one to make, man. But basically, how that came about was, so I was working in the studio. You know, I was going through records, and I had, you know, my turntable set up, and I was actually playing a different beat, and I was scratching on top of the beat, right? And I found this gospel record that had the song on it, and I was like, damn, this song is dope, right? But, you know, I was like, I don't know, you know, exactly what I could do with this song, but I was like, well, it's a gospel song, so I bet there's other versions around. So, you know, I hopped on the YouTube and looked up the song, and there's like...
What's the name of the song, you remember?
I think it's called There's a City in Heaven. I believe that's the name of the song.
Okay.
And so I'm going through, because like the record I had was just some old, you know, like gospel records, there's a ton of them, and it's like, they'll just take a live recording basically from a church service, and they'll be singing the song. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I found that, but then I started looking at different versions, and I found a Mahalia Jackson version.
Holy
you know what I'm saying?
shit.
And you already know, so like, as soon as I saw Mahalia Jackson, I immediately started thinking about my grandmother.
Right, exactly.
We grew up, she was banging Mahalia Jackson. You know what I'm saying? She was banging Mahalia.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
I was like, okay, well, I gotta take this shit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you know, I just took the spots that I liked. I already, from hearing the other version on the record, I already knew like what parts of the song I wanted to take and flip. So I just took those same parts from the Mahalia Jackson song and made the beat, and then I was just like, man, it'd be tight to just make this shit bang. So I just put some hard, super heavy drums on it. You know what I'm saying? And it had the chops, and then to add the cherry on top, I went back to that original record and scratched parts of the record, the other version, on top of that beat. So that's why you hear, so that's why you hear the scratches and the different vocals that's going on in the background, and all of that. That's from the record. Those are two different versions of the same song, different artists.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And I mashed them together. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's how that came about. And yeah, I really like that beat too. I play that shit for anybody. I'm like, dog, this shit bangs. I don't care. Like, you would have to be a stick in the mud to not feel that beat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
yeah, that shit hard, bro.
Yeah, that's the story behind that one. And yeah, of course, we gonna call it after Grandmommy. You know what I'm saying? It's like, for me, that was like an honor to her. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I feel like if she was still alive and I just rolled up on her and played it for her and be like, it was some Mahalia Jackson song, she might fuck with it. She might not, but you know, she might be like, that bangs, grandson. You know what I'm saying? So
she'd be like, that shit hot, pooper.
Right. For real. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was like me paying homage to my grandmother. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's where that whole thing came about. You know what I mean? It's something about gospel music. You know, it's just it's already full of emotion.
Right.
Anyway, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't have to really do anything to try to add emotion to it. It's already there. You know what I'm saying? Those people were feeling it when they were singing it. You could tell. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's going to translate into the beat. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
You could definitely feel that shit. I mean, you can feel that shit, bro.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, that's where I was at with that one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. I think definitely the fan favorite on this album, man. We're going to keep it moving because, shit, I thought, you know how we do, man.
Yeah, I know.
You know how we do, man. We just start talking, man. Shit. Hey, this intermodulate beat, I feel for me, it's probably one of the most versatile beats. I think between this and, what's the other, the Prayer and the Lawless Land beat, it's like I can play these. I feel like I can play these across the board where, sometimes your beats, we've talked about this before, your beats are so hot or so drum heavy that I can't play them as background music. This intermodulate beat is like the perfect background music.
Right. But that's what's up. Yeah, if you recall that beat, that was a beat I made when I was doing an IG Live one night. I was at the house, and I was like, "Fuck it, man! I'm gonna do IG Live."
Was I in that? Was I in
that?
Yeah,
you were in there. You were in there for a while. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Intermodulate, it's from a record called. And I got this off an actual record. Like, this wasn't no YouTube digging. It's just a record I had at the crib. It's by this dude named Jim Hall and Bill Evans, who are two of my favorite jazz musicians. Jim Hall plays the guitar, and Bill Evans plays the piano or the keyboard. And I've had this record for 13 years. I made a couple beats off of it, but I was in one of those modes where I just wanted to go back to some of the things that kind of like, set me off in the first place with this beat stuff, But I think the first beat I made out of that record was probably 2005, maybe.
Oh, really?
Like, so a while ago, yeah. And so yeah, man, I just put the record back on, man. I mean, you can basically drop the needle at any point on that record and find something to make a beat out of. So I just went through, man, and I found a spot. And I really wanted to take a less is more approach with that beat. You know what I'm saying? So if you notice, there's a lot of space in it. There's not a whole lot of stuff going on. I just kind of wanted it to ride and then just, kind of put some little snappy drums on it. But yeah, I didn't want to do too much with that. You know what I'm saying? I really felt like to be minimal was a good look just for that particular beat. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so I chopped it up on the IG Live. I made the whole thing on IG Live, and then I rapped to it for like 20 minutes. On IG Live, just like spitting, you know what I'm saying? I was a little faded, so I was just going in. So I must have freestyled to that shit for like 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to black out. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But that was a fun one to make, yeah. And it just like, it brought back some good memories of, when I first started messing with it, you know what I'm saying?
First started making beats. So, I mean, you started basically 14 years ago on that sample.
Yeah.
Made several beats since then.
Yep.
That's what's up.
Yep.
All right, so we're gonna jump ahead. What about this? Now, this is probably the hardest beat on the album, and that is ISIS in Peru, GA. So.
Oh yeah.
Like the drums, I think for me, like I love the way it starts. Right? It's like it starts dramatic. It's got that wing, and then when them drums come in, dude, I'm about to lose my fucking mind, bro. I'm trying to keep up with that shit. Bro, that shit hits so hard, bro.
Yeah, man, like, I've always kind of like wanted to do, scoring for films and stuff like that. So I like to capture some, dramatic essence in a lot of my beats. And that might be one of the reasons why they go so well with your videos, you know what I'm saying? But for that beat, I'm really into progressive rock music from like the early 70s. And Italy actually was one of the meccas of that style of music. So that's an Italian progressive rock sample from like the early 70s. And yeah, man, it just sounded cool, man. And I really it was one of those things where the sample didn't make the beat. It was everything around the sample that really made it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like the bass line is just heavy, and the drums are just like heavy, and they at times get frantic and then go back to regular. And I played the organ on there, and you add organ to some shit, you automatically added suspense. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, I sat with it for a little while, just as the sample, just as a loop, and just try to figure out how I was gonna like attack it, how I was gonna approach it. And I was like, I started out and I played that organ, and I was like, oh, okay, word. And then basically I copied the bass line from the sample, pretty much note for note, just with a heavier bass. You know what I'm saying? And so that laid the foundation. And then after that I added the drums, which is like one of my favorite drum breaks, but I chopped it up. You know what I'm saying? So I took a long, yeah, man. I love that beat, man. I really do. I like that beat a lot. Yeah, that's one of my favorites, man. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man.
So
that's pretty much the story behind that one.
Yeah, man, that's I think just that thing, it just hits hard, bro. It just hits so freaking hard, man. And the drum loops, you know what I mean? Every once in a while, I'll nail one. Like you know what I'm saying? Like every third.
Right.
I'm like, I know this one.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I just wanted a lot of variation to it. You know what I'm saying? Like that whole thing, the whole drum thing was one take. Just a super long take of me just trying to play it a bunch of different ways.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying?
You did all those on the pad?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I just played around with it and I just hit record and just went. So that it never was exactly the same for the most part, the whole way. It changed, even as subtly, the whole thing's different. It's not just one static loop that keeps repeating. You know what I'm saying? It just like, it changes, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
yep, that's one thing I definitely noticed. You can't really nail, you have to listen to the entire song a few times to even know that, because you think it might, and then there's like a couple little drum hits that are off. It's like, oh shit, I missed that one.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I wanted it to just keep evolving and keep being different. You know what I'm saying? So,
and it's a very unique beat. It sounds so different than everything else on the, you know what I mean? Not that.
Yeah.
These are every song has its own different sound, but this song right here is just crazy.
Hey, man, appreciate it. Yeah, that's like, that was the one I was having, I was definitely having fun just seeing how far I could take that shit. You know what I'm saying? And just trying to, I just wanted it to be interesting the whole way out. And like I said, the sample itself is kind of simple. It's just a loop. But everything that's around it is what makes it. You know what I'm saying? So, man.
That shit was definitely dope, man. So
and that's producer shit. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, man, that shit was crazy, man. The It's the Truth beat. Now, you said that was the same sample as The Faces?
Yeah, it's off the same record. It's a different song, but it's off the same record. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And basically what he's saying on the song is like, Christ is the truth.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
we definitely flipped that shit up.
Yeah.
Like, we definitely flipped that shit up right there.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, he's basically saying like, I go through this, I go through that, worldly ways and things of that nature, but ultimately what I know is Christ is the truth.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And you know what? People will never know that even, because it just sounds like it's the truth. What I hear, it just feels like it's the truth, right?
Yep. And and so like he's basically saying like going through, like a life where he's sinning but he knows better. Basically, it's the crux of the song. And
gotcha.
That's why the little part at the end he says, "With that in mind, what can I do?" Like you don't really hear that, but that little part.
Yeah, I do hear.
Like,
I do hear.
He goes with, it's like, "With that in mind, what can I do?" So it's like, I know it's the truth. With that in mind, what can I do? I'm still out here sinning, basically. But I know, I know better, basically. So
right.
That's kind of the song, yeah. And that just the way, like, that guitar is just stupid on that song. So
yeah, and that's your boy Nate, right?
Dog. Huh?
That's your boy Nate, right?
Well, I mean, the guitar in the sample, and then Nate on top. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like. But yeah, I mean, you hear that shit, and then you hear him say it's the truth. It's like, oh, beat made. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
bro, that shit hard.
You know what I mean? I'm like, dog, who don't want to hear some shit saying it's the truth? Like, dog, come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that one was just, and I chopped the shit out of it. Like, those parts aren't necessarily all together when you listen to the original song. I took parts from, like, one, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I took a bar from here, and a half a bar from there, and a quarter of a note from there, and put them all together into my own loop.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean?
That's
crazy,
man.
Yeah, man.
Man, Chef Boy, y'all D with the beats. That's crazy,
bro. Trying to cook them up, you know what I'm saying? Trying to cook them up.
That's crazy. It's weird, man, because when I first heard the song, I don't know, it just fit. So what I ended up doing for like most of these episodes, this is how I always close on that beat. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know why.
Yeah, because what you're saying is the truth, nigga.
Yeah,
that's how you gotta close it out. Like, in case y'all forgot.
No shit.
In case y'all forgot.
Right, exactly. Yeah, man, that shit, yeah, no doubt some fucking flames on that shit, bro. And the Land of Hearts, you gave me this one, when you gave me this beat, and I knew you said it was a Young Hearts sample. When you gave me this beat, I was pretty much mostly done through the series, but when I heard this joint, I had to have it, bro. This shit is it's just so crispy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, like, that beat to me is the one that sounds like it could, like, be on the radio or something, like, right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of how I feel about that beat. Like, it's just so, even by my own standards, it's just well manicured. You know what I'm saying? Everything's in the right place. It's not too much. It's not too little. You know, the drums are in the right place. You know what I'm saying? And, yeah, man, that was a fun one to make. Once again, that was me going back through my records and just like, I don't know how long I've had that record, but I never listened to it. I just found it in the stack. You know, because I own so many records, it's like so many get overlooked. I don't ever get around to listening to them. So, you know, one day I had a stack of records and I was just going through each record and I pulled that one up and I knew it would be dope because you can just, after you've been digging for records for so long, you kind of can tell a lot of times what's going to have some shit on it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I pulled that one out and it said Young Hearts. Okay. Well, I automatically know. When you see a name like that, you automatically know it's like a soul group from the 70s. So you're already on the right track. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then I looked at the label. It's on 20th Century, which a lot of good stuff came out on 20th Century. Just a ton of stuff that I really enjoyed came out on that label. So that was a second good sign. I see those two things, I'm like, all right, I'm putting this record on and I'm listening to it. And yeah, you know, like, I just went through it, I heard the sample, and I was like, you know, a lot of producers wouldn't touch that sample because it's got so much vocals in it and stuff like that.
Right.
But for me, I was like, nah, this is the one. Like, I'm about to flip this shit. And then the way the bass line broke down and the way that they sang over it, it was perfect for how the drums would match. So, like, you know, that beat comes in and it's like every time it comes around, it's like dun 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 dun. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was like, that's why the drums are like doing the same thing. It's like boom 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they just matching on top of what the bass line is doing with the song, you know what I'm saying? And it's not always so straightforward, but, you know, that was kind of, I don't want to say it was easy, but as soon as I heard it, I knew what I needed to do with it, you know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, the shit sounded so good, you know what I mean? I had to I wanted to make it an intro, but I edited an entire video just for that song. You know what I mean? So
right.
On the Smartest Beast 8, on episode 8, the whole intro is just that song because I felt like the song was so good, and it was like, so I used a lot of my crispiest footage, a lot of my cleaner cuts. I used everything I could to make that shit look legit. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'll probably moving forward when I start to promote the video outside of YouTube, I'll probably use that portion right there with that beat,
right,
because it just fits so perfectly. It was to me it worked, and I edited like the cleanest material over it. So yeah, that shit right there is gonna be, and like you said, it's like kind of a radio ready beat. So I think that's kind of a beat that the masses would be more perceptive to if they were going to, I guess, buy the Smartest Beast, or if I were going to promote it. I feel like that beat, more people would be more receptive to receiving the information, like initially.
Right, and that's the thing. It's like you want people to get on your ways, man. You can't always just hit them with the most all your abstractions. You know, sometimes you just gotta hit them with the direct, easy to understand shit first,
Right.
as an introduction, so they can get deeper with you on the travel. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's kind of like what it is. It's like they hear that, they see the video with it, it'll prepare them for what they're about to see when we dive deeper.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then think about it. Like I know you can't all the way hear what the sample's saying, but it goes perfectly with what you're talking about, because the sample's saying, you know, I give my heart to you. You know what I'm saying? Like this, we put our heart into this shit, and our art is us giving you the consumer our heart. You know, this is everything to us.
Yeah, it
so
really
when we
is.
say, so she's saying this, I swear my heart to you. I swear, I give my heart to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not going to fake the funk. We're not going to bullshit. We're going to give you 100% of ourselves, which is, you know, all of our heart. So really, even from the sense of that, it just makes a lot of sense to do it that way. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's a love song, but it's our love, and our love for our people, and our love for sharing this information and giving people, you know, a piece of that. You know what I'm saying? This is what we really care about. We put our whole heart and soul into it. So it's only natural that we give it to y'all. You know what I'm saying? With no bullshit attached. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it all kind of matches up. It all aligns perfectly.
Yeah, bro. That shit is very, very fitting, man. Dope ass beat. And you're right. I do remember that part of the sample. It's weird how a lot of these songs match exactly what we needed to match. Not only that, even when they don't match it, we flip that shit and make it match.
Right, yeah. No, I mean, that's part of the skill of this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, yeah, man. Like, you're not just going to be able to get into the game and be able to do that. That's the ability to be able to manifest ideas. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one thing to have the idea, but what's up with your execution?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Execution's what it's all about. Ideas are just ideas. If you can't execute them properly, then, you know, you're not going to get nowhere.
Right.
With the shit. You know what I'm saying? You got to, and that comes from doing it over and over and learning yourself and understanding what your strengths and weaknesses are and attacking. You know what I'm saying? So that's really what that shit is all about. You know what I mean? So really that's what it is. Yeah, man.
So let me know about this Lawless Land beat. Probably one of the more low-key, subtle beats on the entire album.
Man. Yeah, man. That's from this dude. His name's Jim Lawless, and he does library music. And I've been really into library music lately. And basically, what library music is like, back in like the 70s and stuff like that, people and there would be labels specifically made songs for film and TV and commercials, and they would have libraries of them. And so basically, like, if you were like a TV music director back in the day, you could go to the library, quote unquote. You would pay like a flat fee, and you would have access to all these songs that were meant to capture whatever mood you know, was going on in your show or your commercial. And it's like, so you would just dig into the library and you'd be like, okay, I need angry music. And you would go into the music library and you would pull out the records that said angry music, angry moods. And it would be like, you know, 30, 40, you know, tracks that somebody made that all supposed to encapsulate that mood. So that was one of the songs it wasn't out of Angry Moods. I can't remember what it was. I think it was Romantic Vibes or some shit like that, but, you know, it was just a song in the library, you know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I heard it and I was just like, man, this shit is so smooth. You know what I'm saying? I was like, this shit is so smooth and it's relaxed and it's laid back and you just kind of vibe to it. You know what I mean? And actually, I chopped it up, but I didn't do a whole lot to it. It was good enough on its own. You know, sometimes when you're making beats, it's just good to leave it alone, not try to overproduce it, not fuck with it too much, and just let it shine. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I wanted to do with that sample, is just, you know, let the sample do the talking for me. It already had all the information really needed I just needed to add some drums, do a little background on it, and kind of just let it do its own thing. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, and I definitely got that. It did its own thing. Like I said, it was a subtle beat, really easy to listen to, and honestly, it kind of still puts me in the mood of the prayer beat as well.
Right.
So was the prayer beat, explain a little bit about that one. I guess maybe even the similarities and the differences between those two beats.
Well, the prayer beat took more work.
I actually like the prayer beat more than the Lawless Slam. I mean, I like them.
I do too. Yeah, I mean, I'm a bigger fan of the prayer beat. The funny thing is, I've been working on that prayer beat I've had that sample. That's actually from a song called Claire, which is what Dilla sampled for the song Players.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the same sample. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of like my nod to Dilla in a way too, because he made the song, the sample says Claire, and he made it basically sound like it was saying players, right? So I made it say prayer, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I called it that. Yeah, and I've been trying to figure out a way to flip that sample for years, man. Probably 6 or 7 years I've had that shit on my computer. And I just happened to one day work it out where it actually worked. And I made the whole beat before I put that sample in there. So every other part of the beat is in there. And then I put the sample on top of that. I was like, oh, finally, I found a beat that I can use this on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I finally found a vehicle for the sample that I've been just sitting on. You know what I mean? And the reason, and a lot of people have flipped that sample, but they all are trying to make it sound like the Dilla song. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted it to sound like its own shit. You know what I'm saying? And for me, that's the real nod to Dilla, because Dilla wouldn't be out here condoning motherfuckers trying to make shit that sound exactly like his shit.
Right.
Like he wouldn't be mad at you for using the same sample he used. But you gotta put your own personality on it.
You can't sound like his beat.
Yeah, you gotta flip the shit. So that's what I did.
And it's funny because I've heard a lot of people use the same sample that Dilla used, and that shit sound like a Dilla beat. I'd be like, damn, man,
right?
Like you totally biting this nigga. Like it's okay to like take the sample, but you got to do something, original.
Yeah, he was all about flipping. As long as you're flipping and you're doing, you're making it unique and shit, then you probably would have fucked with it. You know what I'm saying? But if you're out here biting them and it's style, you know what I'm saying, then he's probably not condoning that. So yeah, that was my whole attitude towards it. And it doesn't sound like a Dilla beat, it sounds like a me beat.
Yeah, nah, it don't sound like a Dilla beat at all.
Sound like some shit I would make. Yeah, you know what I mean? So yeah, man, I really like the drums on that shit. Like drums just, every time that shit comes on, and it's like you hear the sample first just for a quick second, and then the drums come in, and that snare is just snapping. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, I just really like the drums on that song. Like, that's like my favorite part of the beat is the drums just snap so crazy on that beat. I don't even know I did it. You know what I'm saying?
That shit is nice, bro. And
hey, I appreciate it.
I probably would have, because I got that song a little later as well. Did I get that in the same? Did I get that in the same?
Yeah, that was probably the same batch. Yeah, because I made those like at the same time.
Right. Yeah. So, and guys, that's kind of how it goes, man. Like, hopefully you guys get excited when I drop something in your email, like when I drop a new video in your email. The same way that I get excited when my brother drops new batches of beats. Like he'll just like, all of a sudden, like one day it'll be like new batch. It'll be like 10 beats. I'll be like, oh yes, nigga, let's go.
Yeah, man. And I don't hold back with you because, it might be something that I'm not necessarily all the way feeling, but it goes with your shit. Like,
right.
So I give you everything. You know what I'm saying? I don't hold any beats back from you. I send you everything I make. Obviously, it's not all going to fit, or you're not all going to like everything. That's not really the point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The point is just to make sure that you have access to all of it.
Right.
You know what I
mean?
mean?
Some point, because it's like there are some beats that you have given me that I'm just still waiting to use.
Right. Right. Everything doesn't have an exact moment at that moment in time. Right. Some stuff you got to sit with, and yeah, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I really try to not make beats that are just going to capture you on first listen. I mean, that's dope. But, you know, I like to have, like, a little bit of replay value and a little depth to it. You might not catch everything the first time you hear the beat.
You know what's interesting?
Yeah.
You're very good at that. And it's not only that, because I noticed that in general, I think like a lot of those first capture beats are the ones that have the least amount of replay value. For example, you've got the dope ass beat, right? But less replay. When I first heard it, loved it. Not as much now. And there are other beats that were more subtle that I didn't love when I first played them, but love them a lot now. Just like you were talking about, like the prayer beat. When I first heard it, I was like, oh, that's cool. I could use this, but I wasn't like, oh, this shit is the hottest shit ever. When you first hear the Dame a Dozen beat, like the first 45 seconds, you're like, oh my God, this shit is fucking fire.
Right. Yeah, man. I try to be, once again, it's kind of a nod to Dilla, but I just like to be a master of subtlety with my beats. Like, I think that subtlety adds replay value. So, you know, it's not up in your face, up in the forefront. Like, a lot of cats make beats and they just like, you know, and that's why I feel like that's one of the reasons I can never like win a beat battle, because not all my beats are just going to scream at you from the moment I hit play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of them you got to live with, which I think is dope, because it's like you got to appreciate it more over time. You know what I'm saying?
Like honestly, bro, and I get that even about your style, which I really enjoy, because like your beats are full tracks, and a lot of times, like, yeah, you have beats that loop, but a lot of your beats, like, really for like the first 2 minutes is like an entire introduction. You know what I'm saying?
I have long intros.
It's a long introduction. Like, sometimes it'll take like a full minute and some change for the real beat to even drop.
To even come in, yep.
And then,
yeah, man.
And then, like, sometimes on those beats, the best part of the beat ain't gonna show up until like fucking four minutes into the beat. You're like, oh, this is the best part of the beat right here.
Right. Like, even take like the Lawless Land, right? Like, if you just listen to the first minute, you have no idea that there's a flute at the end. There's a whole flute part at the end of that song. I purposely don't play it till the very end. It almost rewards the listener for hanging out with me for a little while. You know what I'm saying?
Plus, I do feel like it adds the progression, too. Like, you're telling a story.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. That was just about, you took the words right out of my mouth, man. Like, I look at a lot of the beats like I'm telling a story. So there's an introduction, you know, there's a conflict and a resolution. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I really like to surprise the listener at the end of the beat a lot of times.
Yep.
So that's why I be telling cats, listen to it all the way through, because there's going to be something special at the end. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to throw a little extra thing in there, you know what I'm saying, that you didn't think was going to be there. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I want my shit to live on. You know, I don't want my shit to just be some flash in the pan shit. So, you know, and, you know, I mean, I do make stuff that hits you immediately, but, like, that's just for me trying to, I never want to make the same beat. I want to remain versatile. I like variety. So I'm just trying to make every kind of different thing I can make. You know what I'm saying? I get bored real easy. So I go through phases. You know what I'm saying? One week I'm just going to sample anime samples. And the next week I'm just going to sample library music. And the next week I'm just going to do video game samples. And the next week it's just rock samples.
Yep.
You know, I just keep going back and forth forever.
Yeah, because you gave me, what would you get? I think one of the last batches you gave me was the NES batch.
Yeah, it's all Nintendo beats. Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Only
so we got some
Nintendo
shit in the
games.
archives, y'all, that y'all haven't heard. Trust me. Hey, DaaayTripppers still working, bro, and I'm telling you, there's the catalog is hella deep. So it's cool, man. We get to pull it out. Not only that, by the time we're onto another project, it'll be time to drop another album. You're gonna have a whole new catalog of beats. And the thing about it is, people are gonna be getting older beats. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, just because you make new beats doesn't mean that they all come out on the new album. A lot of these beats that you had made a long time ago.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah. I mean, people will hit me up about a certain beat, that's in your video, and I'll be like, yeah, I made that 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like Babylon's Eulogy, that's an old fucking beat. Like, that beat is like 8 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that's like a staple beat, like, to my videos. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people holler at me about that beat all the time. You know, I don't even have the session anymore. I couldn't, like, change it if I wanted to. That's just gonna be what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And like some shit is like super old, man. This is what it is. And I really appreciate you giving them a place to live, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really means a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? That I could feel like I'm a part of something like that. You know what I mean?
That's dope. That's dope. And that's real. Like giving the beats a place to live and new life. It's like, I mean, now that the people have heard the music, even with the older albums, guys, we're talking about the previous albums, like the Art of Atheism album and the Home Alone album, like Lost at Home, not Home
Lost
Alone.
at Home, yeah,
Lost at Home.
Yeah.
But you know, songs like You're Not Free, that song that everybody loves, the children.
Yeah.
The Children of the Sun? Are you
too.
Kidding me?
Yeah, I love that song. Yeah,
that
I was
shit
actually
is so old.
the other day. Yeah, no, that beat I made in 2003.
2003, guys. It's 2019.
Yeah, 16
Now imagine
beat. That beat would be driving right now.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That beat, it's crazy because nobody, I mean, think about it. We would never have ever heard of that beat if I didn't have that old. I've got a tablet I have from 2011. And I actually downloaded all the music from transferred all the music from my old computer that I had of yours onto this tablet. That's pretty much, this tablet it doesn't really even work anymore. But it still stores a lot of your old music on it. Hey guys, a lot of these beats that you have heard, like, they could be gone forever. Right. You know what I mean? Like,
that beat, remember you had to send me that beat because I didn't have it anymore.
Right.
Like, you had to send me that beat to clean up, to send back to you.
Right.
Because I didn't have it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, you played that shit, and, you know, that was I mean, you know, that was a very key beat for me in my life. That beat was one of the things that solidified my confidence in myself. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, oh, man, I could really do something with this.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that sample and just, like, the way I used it and the layers that I put on top of it, and, yeah, the You're Not Free and all of that, like, you know, that was a real special beat for me.
Yeah, that
you know
shit's beautiful,
like,
bro. That shit.
Yeah, man. That was a really special beat for me. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, man.
Yeah, thanks for having that, because, yeah, I didn't have no copies of that shit at all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got that shit on my playlist now. I'll be listening to that shit.
Yeah, man. I mean, really, it's one of the best beats you ever made. I mean, and that's saying a lot, especially because it's 15 years old, 16 years old. Think about that, man.
Yeah.
16,
that's wild, man.
A 16-year-old beat came back out in 2017. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
And here's the thing, like, our numbers, it's not like I have the following I should have. So, at some point, as the work becomes more well known, as we expand our followings and our audience, there's going to be an entire group of people who are still going to be introduced to this stuff. Because, I mean, a lot of this music, you know, it's still going to recur. Like, just because you heard our beat on the Art of Atheism album doesn't mean you're not going to hear it on the next Smartest Beats, or doesn't mean you're not going to hear it on the next Boulé. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like a lot of these beats, of course, not only do they have replay value, but more so than anything, like, your sounds are so associated with what I do now. Even from it's really, you know, there's like this auditory connection that you make between certain thoughts and certain information. So I feel like your beats and my words are like part of a spiritual connection. You know what I'm saying? And I think when we share stuff, what makes it more authentic when people are receiving stuff is like they know where it comes from.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That, not just that, hey, you know, we're brothers, but they can see, you know, we're very transparent about our dedication to this shit. And I think that's what a lot of people appreciate.
Yeah, for sure, man. And, yeah, we just want to be, you know, examples of what you can accomplish through hard work and dedication. You know what I'm saying? It's like damn, like what you think about the beat or what you think about the information being presented. Even if you don't rock with any of that, you can always rock with a nigga getting his grind on. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, that shit
it's just
is
like
universal
this.
as fuck. You know, so
Prime example, bro. I'm at the store, right? If you ask me for change at the store, bro, I'm not gonna give you no change.
right.
But you know what? If you up there selling your mixtapes, nigga, I will buy your mixtape. I might not even listen to that shit.
Right.
Hell, it might be blank.
It probably is.
You might sell me a blank CD, nigga, but if I see you out there grinding, bro.
Right, yeah. We gotta respect the grind. Yeah, for sure. I do the same. If you're out there trying to really put in work, you know, I'd like to reward that type of behavior, man.
Right. Exactly.
You know
I support people who want to try to support themselves.
Right. Exactly.
So I'm
the same way.
That's a huge thing for me. But you're absolutely right. It's like, hey man, you got that. I respect the grind.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so,
man.
you know, I think for me, especially with my followers, thank you guys for sticking with me. But I think that was a major reason why, why initially niggas was fucking with me. Cause I know my work had to improve, you know, but,
right.
I think people respected the fact that they saw that I was consistently doing this and going after it, to the point where it's just like you were saying, you see the progression. And you don't have any choice but to prove once you dedicate it and put the work in, you're gonna get better.
Yeah, man. You gotta stick with it, man. Can't just be on some flash on a plan. This stuff takes years. It's not an overnight thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not an overnight thing. It's like constant work. And yeah, like I said, like you'll see the improvement in whatever you do. There's no way you can't get better if you keep at it. There's no way. You know what I'm saying? Like obviously there's ways to work smarter and not harder, but that also comes from putting a lot of time in.
Right. You have to
and seeing the things that you're getting trapped up on and figuring out ways to solve those problems. It's still going to come from working a lot and you know what I'm saying, putting a lot of time in. So
absolutely,
yeah,
you have to learn the way to adapt that you're not going to know without the experience.
Right, you're not going to know without the experience and the work. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? You won't know the areas to work smarter than harder if you're not working harder already.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So
and that's a constant thing. Like, you know, as you get better, you're always going to find more efficient ways to work. It's just like for me, it was taking me so long before to do. You remember how long it used to take me just to do a music video, bro? You remember I was doing all this extra shit with the cameras and blah blah blah, and I still kind of took that mentality when I first started doing these videos, and then I realized that, man, fuck that. I just have to do something. Because at the end of the day, most people are watching these things on mobile devices, so they're not going to know that you're using, or even care that you're using this camera, you got this lighting set up, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, nobody cares about that shit, yeah.
They just need to hear it clearly and see it clearly.
Right. Yeah, the product itself is, you know, all that technical shit is just shit for us that are, like, in the know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To talk about or deal with.
Right, to talk about amongst ourselves when people are looking at us like we're pseudo geniuses.
That's why I don't really get into the technical stuff when it comes to making beats. It's like, is it dope? That's kind of all that matters. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of nerds out here talking about what kind of equipment they got and talking shit about certain things that people use to do their stuff with. And I'm like,
but you ain't got nothing dope. Like, you still, you know what I mean? Like,
right, because you care about the wrong shit. That's really what it all comes down to. It's like you care about, you know, like some people are like, I'll never sample off YouTube. I'll only sample records. Well, there's a whole world of dope samples that you're missing out on because you're being a fucking you're being stubborn about this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, just go ahead and do it. It's like, I don't care what it is. I'll sample a fucking VHS tape. I will sample anything. I do not care what the source material comes from. And I don't care what you're using to make it. If you want to use Fruity Loops, use Fruity Loops. If you want to use an MPC, use an MPC. If you want to use whatever. None of that matters. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of that matters. You want to use the most expensive camera in the world, but you're shooting, you know, dog park films or some shit. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is trash, homie. Like, I don't care if, you know, and so a lot of people think that it's about, you know, how much money you put into it. I hear that from a lot of people too. Well, I don't know how to get started because, you know, I need $1,000 to get this piece of gear. It's like, bro, if you don't get an app on your phone and start making beats on your phone so you can get the money, you know, to invest in yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to let my inner dog, the first, even like dog, like that Children of the Sun beat. I didn't make that on my own equipment. I made that on the homies MPC. I didn't have an MPC. I wasn't going to let that keep me from making beats. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like,
real shit, bro.
You know, I don't want to hear people use that as an excuse, man. There's people with, like, no money that are still being super fucking creative.
Bro, I mean, I just stopped making videos on my phone. I mean, literally.
Oh, I know. You was killing it. Yeah, I know. Nah, you was killing it. You was killing it.
Nigga, I just got a computer, bro.
When you got to the point where you could upgrade, you upgraded, but you didn't let that keep you from doing your art and doing your thing.
Right, because like I said, like you alluded to, but like I said earlier, if I would have waited to get the cameras and the studio, nigga, I would still be waiting.
Yeah, man.
When none of this shit be made.
I tell people that all the time, man. If you're gonna wait that long, man, you're never gonna get there. It's never gonna happen. Keep waiting for the right set of circumstances. Nah, you just gotta jump out there.
Right, the circumstances are waiting on you, bro.
Yeah, I mean, like, even on a you know, on the same level but on a different level, you know, the shit I do for a living. You know, if I would have waited until I had, you know, $2,000, $3,000 to start my business,
right,
I would have never started it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I went out there and I just started. And I learned as I went. And, of course, there were some headaches along the way. I realized why it's important to have better equipment for certain things or whatever. But, you know, I would have never started. I wouldn't have been able to, you know, feed myself off my business if I kept waiting and waiting and waiting. I just jumped in. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And started.
And you figured it out.
And improved as I went. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's a big thing, man. People just let any little old thing keep them from doing their shit. You're just making excuses. You know what I'm saying? Stop making excuses for why you can't do something. Don't be a problem person. Be a solution person. Some people just like to look at problems and complain about problems and see problems as problems. I never see problems as problems. I only see problems as opportunities. And it's a real mental, it's a mind frame, and it's an approach to life that you got to change. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, you see it on the internet, man. It's like people always complaining about this, that, and the third. It's like they never bring up solutions. They never think of a way to solve the problem.
Right.
And so they just live their life in problem. You know what I'm saying? That's a terrible way to live. Like,
and bro,
nah, man, you got to be. Yeah.
And I was just saying, sometimes that problem is a blessing. Sometimes you being solution.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Solution oriented about that problem is actually leading you to a blessing.
Yeah. And it's like once you do it a couple times, you start to realize that you can continue to do it. You just get better and better at it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't see problems as problems. I don't see them as that. I always see them as opportunities to grow, opportunities to learn more. You know what I'm saying? Opportunities to develop myself. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's just my mindset, and that's how I've gotten to where I've gotten in my life. You know, I don't let problems keep me from doing what the fuck I'm gonna do. Nothing's gonna stop me from pursuing this art and making this art. I'll figure out a way. Always. You know what I'm saying? I'll always figure out a way. So, you know, always.
Yep. The old cliche, when there is a will, there is a way. And
there's a way. Straight up. Straight up. Straight up, man.
This is true.
So, yeah. I mean, that's the number one thing I could tell all your followers. You know, if you're dealing with something, if you're trying to figure out how to do what you want to do, the first thing is don't be afraid. The second thing is work hard at it. Put the time in. You know what I'm saying? And the third thing is problems are opportunities. The problems are opportunities in disguise. If you carry those three things with you, ain't no doubt you can be successful in what you do. You know what I'm saying? And you'll start to realize that the real reward is from the work, not the result. It's about the journey. It's not about the destination. As soon as you get to the destination, you're going to create a new destination.
Yeah, destinations are
You
fleeting.
know what I'm saying? Yeah. They're constantly moving.
Right.
You know
I've never been to a destination longer than a few seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't exist. Like, you can be there,
right,
but they don't exist. Like, the whole point of the destination is the journey.
Right. Exactly. It's like for some people, you know, like I said, you know, I do a festival and there's like literally 4,000 people in the crowd. A lot of people would think you made it. But the first thing I thought when I got done doing that show was, okay, how can we get 10,000 people? And how can we get the 10,000 people to come to see just us, not just the headliner of the festival?
Right.
You know, it's levels to this shit. So yeah, I mean, it was a great opportunity, and like I loved every minute of it. And you know, we got a lot of respect in our world for doing it. But the first thing I thought when I got on stage is, okay, how do we take this further? So it ain't no destination. It's just like points on the road map. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's all like different coordinates you're reaching on your path, and the path never ends.
Never.
You know what I'm saying? It don't even end with death. You know what I'm saying? So like,
You can say that again.
it just
Don't
keeps going.
end with death.
It just keeps going. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you can't be results driven. You can't be destination driven. It's got to be about the work and just keep expanding, keep leveling up. You know what I mean? So, you know,
No, that's solid.
that's what it is.
I mean, that's solid advice, bro.
Yeah, man.
Well, shit, man. I'm gonna keep it moving. We're gonna talk about these 3 beats, and then I'm gonna let you get off this phone, bro. Okay.
All right.
All right. So we got So I forgot what we called this before, but track 10, Tremblement de Terre, which means earthquake in French. The tremble of the earth. What was the inspiration behind this beat? Because it hits.
Yeah,
It hits
I'm
hard.
trying to remember what beat that is now.
That's what you call Robaix.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I know it wasn't it a French person?
Yeah, it's this dude, Francois de Roblaix.
Yeah, Francois de Roblaix. And I said that
Yeah.
it sounded like an earthquake, and you were like, well, it's a French dude. Because
Right, yeah.
And so I was like, okay, well, let's look up earthquake in French.
Right. Yeah, nah, he was a really popular French composer from the 60s. He actually had a famous, like his most famous sample is a Missy Elliott sample. There's a song called Hit 'Em With the He. I don't know if you remember that shit. But
I think that might have been Missy's best song.
yeah, and you know that beat's like dun, 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 dun,
Hit 'em with the
dun,
hoe.
dun. Yeah. So that's a Francois de Roblaix sample. But so yeah, I just dig his tunes, man. He's just dope. Like a lot of his stuff is just really tight. And for that beat, yeah, I just wanted to have some like super hard bass on it. That was like my only intention. So that's why the kick drums are just super bassy.
You can feel it in your soul on that joint, bro.
Yeah. And the kick drums are just super bassy, and that's just kind of like what I wanted. And once again, I just wanted a lot of space. I didn't want to take up space on that shit. I just want to let it breathe. You know what I'm saying? So there's not a lot going on. But yeah, I love that beat. And actually, one of the reasons I like it is because it has an odd progression. You know what I'm saying? Like when the changes in the sample come, it's just a little odd, you know? And I think that adds a lot of personality to that beat, you know what I'm saying? And that was my main thing with that one. You know what I'm saying? I really like the chord progressions on that shit.
Yeah,
so
bro, that joint hits hard, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I like that beat a lot. But yeah, ain't much of a story behind that one. It's just I really like that dude's work. I found a little thing, and I thought it was a little quirky. It was like not so quirky that it's gonna, put people off, but quirky enough that it could stay interesting throughout. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Right.
But I really like that beat. Yeah, I rock with that beat a lot.
It provides this combination of easy listening yet still hitting hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I like to kind of merge those things together from time to time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so
it's a very easy listening sample.
It is an easy listening sample, and it wasn't. It hit hard, but it wasn't a snare hit. You know what I'm saying? So it was. Right. I could talk over it. Right.
Yeah, like the frequency at which your voice is projecting, which is a kind of mid to high frequency. There's not a lot going on that song.
Right.
Like most of the heavy stuff is on the lower end of the frequency spectrum. So. Yeah, it's plenty of space for you to be able to sound clear and audible on top of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So this Vanity Runs the World beat. A lot of people like this beat. A few people hit me about this. In particular, they, it's like, ooh, I need that. What's this beat? Can I get this beat? I'm like, hey man, you got to get the whole album. So guys, listen guys, it's 12 beats. $12.
$1 a beat.
It's $1 a beat, guys. Just like my videos are $1 a video. Listen, understand that, like, it's not about the money for us. It's not.
Right.
Just support the work. We're not looking. Listen. First of all,
can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
Because when you first did the thing on the IG, I seen a nigga with a bitch ass comment talking about $12. Like that was expensive. And I had so many things I wanted to say to that dude, but I just left it. I ignored him because everybody else was, and I think that's probably the best thing to do.
Right.
In that situation. Like, sorry ass niggas like you don't get our attention. But I just got a couple points to that. First of all, something you really care about, you'll pay more than $12 for it. You know what I'm saying? You'll pay $100 to go to a fucking Jay-Z show. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because for whatever reason you feel like he has more of a credibility than we do.
Right. He's more valuable. He's more valuable to them.
Right. You're basically saying that he's more valuable than the shit that we're giving you, which is bullshit. So that's my first caveat to that. And the other part is, like, you're right. It's not about the money with us. It's about the art. But I will say, we feed ourselves with this shit. Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is part of how we live our lives. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and honestly, it's a reasonable price. This is a lifetime of enjoyment for the consumer. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll be able to go back to this years from now and still enjoy it. I guarantee you that your $12 will be worth it. You know what I'm saying?
Far more replay value than a Jay-Z album.
Right, and so it's like, when that dude said that, like, I had so many things I want to say to that dude. I was like, I'm not finna get in no comment war.
You know what? That's why I don't even... Sometimes that's why I don't even read all of my comments. It's like, I'll see one. If I don't like it, I'll just keep it moving. Because a lot of times, I can't even... It's not even worth my time to even address these people. Because that's the type of person who makes a comment like that. That's the type of person who was never going to support you anyway.
Right, exactly. I went, you know me, I wouldn't look at his page, try to see what he was about. And obviously, I didn't even have to go to know that he wasn't about shit. And he's not. Just based off his IG, I could tell that he ain't about shit. So when you're not about shit, you're not gonna vibe with us on shit like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna put no value on this shit. But the real ones know. They know what goes into it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I saw a meme that was like, I can do something in an hour and charge you $100 an hour for it, but it took me 20 years to learn how to do it in an hour.
Right.
You're not paying me for the hour, you're paying me for the years. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I feel with this. Like, dog, we've been putting so much time and effort into this shit. It's like, you're not paying us for, 12 songs. You're paying us for a lifetime of dedication and work. And when it comes to that, $12 ain't nothing. You know what I mean?
I understand, it really isn't anything at all, man.
Right, and I understand, people do have to be responsible with the money that they spend on things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to, shortchange what people decide to spend their own hard-earned money on. I'm not trying to shit on people for doing that. We all appreciate anybody that can donate. But, I just, that shit just had me heated because I was like, this nigga has no idea, what we go through and the amount of time we spend to bring this to people. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to make a comment about that real quick. You can continue.
Nah, bro, because I mean, you kind of struck a nerve with me because I feel the same way, man. And especially like when I tell people to donate $1 for a video, right? So then you'll have somebody come and be like, "Oh, so it's about the money, or you're selling knowledge?" Like, "Oh, you're selling knowledge." Like, first of all, I produced an entire video and wrote an entire script. All right.
Right.
So these words are no one else's unless I say quote or end quote.
Right.
These are my words.
It's like motherfuckers will pay $18 to go see Avengers. You know what I'm saying? Or like whatever they're into or whatever they want to do, they'll spend whatever to do that. You know what I'm saying? But it's like we've in this internet culture where everybody just wants everything for free. They want to pirate music. They want to, do this, that, and the third, and they think that there's no value.
They want to pirate your shit. They'll fucking give Jay-Z his fucking album, but God forbid I actually need this. You know? Right.
It's like, dog, this is all you do. This is how you support your life. Like, dog, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is how we support ourselves. So, anybody in their right mind is going to charge for it. And it's still to me, a very, like, competitive rate that we're charging. We're not trying to kill people with this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's
what I really respect? You know what I really respect? Shouts out to the brothers that hit me up in the DMs and be like, yo, I just got to save up a couple checks and I'm definitely I'm going cop. But let me, give me a little time. Like, I respect that so much more. You know what I'm saying? Just cats that just be like, I really rocks with y'all and I respect what y'all do and I'm willing to pay for it. I just don't got the bread right now. But I promise, give me a couple weeks, let me get this next check and I'm going to holler at you. That's real shit, man. Like, I just want to give a shout out to all your followers because cats have hit me about I've sold a couple beats to cats. And when cats come at me like that, I'm like, shit, man, take all the time you need. I'll go ahead and send you the beat now. Just on some real shit. Like,
yep.
And I'll give you an extra beat just because you're showing me that you're willing to do that. You know what I'm saying? I have so much respect for that. You know what I'm saying? So just shout out to the cats that have approached me and been on some real shit. Y'all some real ones. And I'll always work with you. Cats will come at me and I give them a price for a beat and they pay me for the beat. I'll send them 3. Like, yo, see if you can do something with these other 2. They on me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if you want some little cheap bullshit, then you're not going to get that same respect from me. So,
Right. And I'm very similar with the people who support me. And I would say, I love my supporters. You know what I mean? Because the people we're talking shit about, they're not supporters anyway. But the people who've been coming through for me, and this is what I recognize, it's like, you build a strong following just by being consistent, just by treating your people with appreciation. Like, I work for nobody but them and the Most High. Not even myself. You know what I'm saying? This is I work for God and I work for them. And at the end of the day, those people have allowed me to do this. So I want to make sure that you guys know I appreciate you guys a lot because without your support on the monetary end, I wouldn't be as good as I am now because you guys have allowed me to not have to fucking work a 9-to-5 job. This is my job now. So I have the actual time to get good. But I struggle just like everybody else does. So it's like, if I make a video, it's like I spend 100 hours making a video, 200 hours, 1,000 hours. And I just say, hey man, give me $1. I don't want to hear you talking shit about my work.
Right.
It took me, you know how much time it took to make that video, and all I want, if you want to give more, which I love, the majority of my people are consistent for one. Most of the people who donate, they donate on a consistent basis, whether it's $1, $2, $5. They donate on a consistent basis. It's not enough people who donate on a consistent basis. There's I probably have I would say a couple dozen who donate on a consistent basis. But, I think, people don't understand that just like you pay for your service, your phone service, your AT&T, your cable, whatever it is that recurs, that you actually get something off of, on a regular basis, that is something that, for lack of a better word, that's like a recurring expense. So it's like, if I ask for $1 for this video, I'm not gouging you by asking you $1 for the next video. Like, you know, like I've had this thing where I talked to a gentleman. He's like, so I have to pay $1 for every video.
Like, dog, it's $1.
It's $1, bro.
Dog. Right.
Go
to your change tray in your car.
My videos, my work's not worth. Basically, what you're telling me is my work isn't even worth $1 to you.
Isn't worth $1, right? Exactly. And you know, like I said, with that comment, it's like it's easy to tell who's doing it because it's only an ain't shit nigga gonna say something like that from the sidelines. You know what I'm saying? They don't respect. They're not doing no work, so they don't understand or respect what it takes to do it, and they don't have the courage to go out there on their own, put themselves out there to be critiqued, put themselves out there to have a nigga like you in my comments talking shit. Like, all that takes courage and bravery, and fucking a lot of people were scared of a critique. A lot of people are scared of any type of criticism, so they won't even make that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But we put ourselves out there to be judged. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
And then you come at me like I'm selling my soul because I asked for $1. Like,
right.
Bruh.
Right.
That's a fair.
Stop.
That's more than a fair exchange.
Stop. You got these fucking mega church ministers making millions of dollars off bullshit sermons, giving people bad advice. Like, literally go to church and they read fucking 3 lines from the New Testament. Like, they don't teach you freaking anything. They're into that prosperity gospel. Right. They're filling you full of bullshit to take your money. Yeah, it's prosperity for them. You know what I'm saying?
Of course it
These
is.
niggas is prospering like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, man, so come on with that shit, man. You know, that shit just irked the hell out of me. But I also was like, it's very typical of somebody that's not really doing anything in their own life to make comments like that. Because if you were doing stuff and you respected, you had your own grind, you would automatically appreciate and respect ours. And you would never come out the side of your mouth to say something like that.
Right.
So I had to leave it alone because I was like, them type of cats are of a lower frequency. They're not worth a rebuttal. Me rebuttaling just gives some weird validation to his shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
yep.
I left it alone. You know what I'm saying? We about positivity over here anyway.
Yeah, we ain't fuck with them all. Fucking hater ass niggas.
Crab in a bucket ass niggas, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man.
Complaining about $1, bro. Come on.
Right. Get out of here.
Come on, bro.
Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man.
So, the Vanity Runs the World beat. I don't know exactly where we cut off when we even started talking about it.
Yeah, we're talking about that. I interjected real quick. But, so the Vanity joint is, it's a Vanity 6 sample. And I was just in my bag on some 80s shit. Like I said, I go through phases. So I made that around the same time I made the Prince beat and some of the other things. I was just like, I was just going through a lot of samples from the 80s.
Classic. That has that classic 80s sound.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like you're in a smoky club full of, cocaine and champagne. You know what I'm saying?
Possibly Jerry curls.
Yeah, possibly soul glows.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I really like that beat too, and I slowed it down a lot. I slowed the sample down. Like the original was like faster, and I just actually got this like these new drums. I just downloaded like some drums I found, and I was trying to flex with those, and I was like, let me just listen to some Vanity stuff, man. I probably went through like 4 or 5 of her songs before I made that beat. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like a little break in there, and I heard a dude playing a synth, and I was like, let me see if I can flip something with and that was one of those beats that actually, the beat came out way better than I thought it would when I first started making it. But I just saw it through to the end. And like maybe halfway through, I started to realize, this shit probably gonna end up sounding pretty good.
Yeah, that shit gonna.
You know what I'm saying? But I didn't have that attitude when I first started chopping up the sample and shit. But I just, I stuck with it and saw it through, and then I was like, Oh yeah, that's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of it has to do with the drums and like how the drums change and the flips and you know what I'm saying? Like the added little vocals I put in and you know all that stuff kind of added to the atmosphere of the song. You know what I'm saying? But Vanity does run the world.
Yeah,
so
I was gonna say
like a very apropos title.
Yeah, very true. And I think even for this project in particular, Vanity is a major theme.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like some of the stuff you're talking about, how like these motherfuckers are trying to inject their own shit into like what the truth is about the genetics and all of that shit, and them trying to like influence how we look at it, is all them projecting their own vanity.
Oh, absolutely.
Onto the scientific world as a whole. You know what I'm saying? And that's all it's all vanity. They want themselves to be the top bosses. So they try to inject all the shit into it that's incorrect. And it's all purely based on vanity. You know what I mean? So yeah, I thought that was very appropriate for this video series. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with that one. I mean, just how you described that was perfect.
Yeah, man. So yeah, it made a lot of sense in all ways, you know.
Yep. And even the for some reason, even the sound map, even like the way the '80s, it all comes together.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean?
So the final beat, one of my favorite beats, and once again, this is not, I didn't know this at the time, but this isn't a new beat either. So just let us know about the Wonder, like where did that sample come from?
Oh, the Wonder Why?
The Wonder Why.
Yeah, that beat is probably like 7 or 8 years old. So once again, I be going through my phases, you know what I'm saying, with what I be sampling. So I was in a basically I was trying to find soul and funk music from around the world. So just non-American soul and funk music. So I was listening to like, you know, African soul music and like Indian. I was really big into like Indian soul, funk, and this was actually an artist named Tim Maya. And if you do any research on Tim Maya, they call him, his nickname was the Brazilian James Brown. So, yeah.
Bro,
so,
I'm gonna have to look.
Yeah.
Hey, remember, what's his name?
Tim Maya, M-A-I-A.
Oh, wow.
And so, like, you know, he was not the Brazilian James Brown, but he was, but he wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Like he was, but he wasn't. It's not like he was making, you know, Super Bad and a big Payback, but you could tell like he was very influenced by the James Brown style of funk from America.
Yes.
But you know, he was Brazilian, so there was a lot of samba in there. You know, there's touches of bossa nova, there's touches of, you know, stuff from where he came from. You know what I'm saying? But he was an Afro-Brazilian dude, and he just made funky ass shit. And he just made like really dope. Like I love listening to his music. He just made really tight music. So yeah, and that was one of the few songs where he sung in English. Because a lot of songs are in Portuguese.
Yeah, it is. Like, that's in English. Yeah, Wonder Why.
Yeah. So yeah, and it was just a song about, you know, him not. He was like, I wonder why she left me. You know what I'm saying? And but really the song is like, yo, you were fucking up. And so like it's kind of like what's the word? Sarcastic kind of song where he's talking about the reasons why she left him, but he's like, I wonder why. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know why, nigga. You was out there doing the most. That's why she left you. You know what I'm saying?
And once again, bro, that's that even hits the theme for our people in terms of the subject matter. It's like, I wonder why shit is fucked up. It's because we was out here doing the fucking most. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We were out here pleasure seeking.
Exactly. Like, we was out here doing instant gratification and all of that. And so,
right.
there really ain't no reason to wonder why. The reasons are there, but we just don't want to accept it because we're ego-driven. You know what I'm saying?
Bro. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, it just makes, it's another one that makes perfect sense. And as far as the construction of the beat, that's another, like, super chop. Like, that's very, like, I was taking literally, like, half-second pieces of that shit. So if you ever go and listen to the original, you're going to see, like, that beat is basically comprised of, like, the main part of the beat is maybe like 4 seconds of audio that I just chopped up. The whole main part of the beat is only like 4 seconds. I just chopped it up and changed the notes around a little bit, and then I put the vocal part in there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, the main section of the beat is like really small snippets that I spliced together.
Right.
You know
So basically you made a whole song out of a 4-second clip.
Yep.
But you know you
not
sample.
including,
But you know
yeah,
you sample. You don't
the
have any
vocal
skills
parts.
because you sample.
Right, exactly. I'd love to see one of these jazz type of niggas try to even think about doing something like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, to me that was like kind of like a DJ Premier type of inspired beat. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really sound like Premier per se.
Yeah, but it does kind of have that Primo-esque kind of sound though.
Yeah. The choppiness of it and the kind of like the swing and the drums. You know what I'm saying? Actually, I recorded those drums without a metronome either. So basically, like a metronome would be like the thing that keeps everything in time. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't use one when I made those drums. That's all my mental metronome.
Oh,
so there's nothing rocking the time. There's no grid.
Right. So it actually gives it a more unique...
It's got more of a human feel and a more of a flow. The pocket is not exact. You know what I'm saying?
Which is what real rhythm is.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what's funny, man?
Yeah.
Not to cut you off, but you're talking about the pocket and rhythm and like, you know, it's not a perfect loop and how like the imperfection is really what makes the rhythm. And I was in this Chinese restaurant waiting a few years ago, and like, have you ever heard like Asian like soul music?
Yeah, it's awesome.
But that's the thing. It's like Asian soul music, but it was like it didn't have that. It was like it was too on beat. You know what I mean? It had no soul.
Oh yeah, because
like,
you know they were using a metronome. Yeah, it takes the humanity out of it.
So now I'm wondering, do you think Asians have souls?
No, I could definitely say that they do, because some of their native music has its own pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like, they do have their own pocket. But when they're making kind of more contemporary stuff, they don't know how black people do it. So they just like try to get as close as they can. That's the same reason why like pop music in America is soulless. Because they don't have a pop, they just follow the same metronome click, click, click rhythm.
Right.
And that's why there's nothing unique about it. And that's why it's pop music. It's like anybody is going to try to follow that formula because it's just made for people that just kind of like lack soulfulness in their life in general. You know what I'm saying? It's the Coke and Pepsi of music. You know what I'm saying? And that's what made James Brown so funky. That's what made P-Funk so funky. That's what made even like Marvin Gaye just so soulful. Is like they had their own pocket all the time. They were operating on their own pocket. Yeah, the snare is going to be on the 2 and the 4, but it's not going to be on the exact 2 and the 4. It's going to be on the 2.13 and the 4.13, or it's going to be on the 1.97. It's not going to be exactly on that 2 and 4, and that's what made it so funky. And you know, that's another thing that made Dilla so special. Is like he never was really on. He always had his own grid. His mind was the grid. You know what I'm saying? And that gives the song or the beat the spirit and the personality and the funk. And you could tell the difference. You know what I'm saying? And that's why you listen to a lot of this music that's coming now, a lot of these cats that's making beats, you could tell they're making all their beats just on a strict grid. And that's why all the rhythms are exactly the same. You know what I'm saying? That's why every Cardi B beat or every Migos beat got the same rhythm and shit to it, because those producers are just making shit on a grid. You know what I'm saying?
It's like the input. It's like a template. They just hey, just do this, do this.
Yeah,
do this.
It's a very assembly line type of attitude towards shit. It's like the most capitalist thing you could do when you make beats. You know what I'm saying? And it's not to take anything away, because sometimes that's what's needed. Like, I'm not saying that none of that shit goes. Like, some of that shit goes. You know what I'm saying? But some of it don't. And that's another reason why, like, I kind of got to give props to, like, a Metro Boomin, because, like, you can hear some of his production and you can tell that he didn't use a metronome. Like some of his shit just be like a little off sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And it adds that personality to the track. You know, I wish niggas did it more. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But I like it when popular artists still do that and go unconventional. You know, it's like, think about a song like Kendrick's got a song called King Kunta. And it's like, there's a lot of like broken rules in that beat. It's actually an old beat from a DJ Quick song from like back in the day. But when Quick made it, like there's certain things that cats just don't do anymore. Like first of all, yeah, you could tell that there wasn't a grid used because like the way the drums hit, it's not exactly on a 2 and a 4. And another thing is that song has the snare and the kick hitting at the same time. Which outside of like house music, you just don't hear it. You don't hear that in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like most hip hop beats, the snare's gonna be on its own and the kick's gonna be on its own. But that song has the kick and the snare hitting at the same time to create a whole different kind of percussion sound. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, sometimes you just catch special shit like that cats will do. You know, and I'm a beat maker, so I listen for that type of stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Well, you know, at least, at some point, let's hope that we can get some soul back into the music that dominates.
It's gonna happen, man. It's always a circle, man. So I just keep doing what I do. The circle will come back around. It always does. You know what I'm saying? I mean, pop's gonna be pop. When we talking about kind of like the small undercurrents, right underneath the super radio hits, that shit'll change. And then those people that make the radio stuff, they'll start copying what we do, and that'll become
right, and niggas have to change their style again.
Yeah, they don't have original ideas. They always look to us to get their ideas. They steal from us. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it's always been. They come and they see that what the kids are doing, or like the real shit that's going on kind of in the underground scene. Back then, it used to be, we're gonna go to the club and watch this performer and basically steal their shit, just like, you know,
right.
just like Eric Clapton did and the Rolling Stones did when they were going to these black clubs and borrowing from the blues musicians and shit, just like they did with hip hop. They were going to these clubs, these dark nightclubs in New York, and seeing what was bubbling, and then they stole it and put it on Main Street.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
They packaged it.
Yeah, they packaged it, right. So that's what's going to happen. But it's all good. It's going to come back around, and, you know, our type of shit will be appreciated even more. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, just hold tight. Keep doing what you're doing. If you want some real shit, it'll come back to you. You know what I'm saying? Be patient. You know?
Well, shit, man, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. This was a fantastic interview. Hopefully, maybe in the next, I don't know, half a year, I would probably say 6 months, we'll probably have another joint ready to drop. Don't know what it'll be yet, but I know that there are several people who've gotten all of your albums. So
hey, well, shout out to them. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, shout out to everybody who's bought the album. Smartest Beast in the Field. I know that we've sold a few. We haven't sold that many. I know a lot more people were saying that they were interested, but I do know as well that when I post on Instagram or YouTube, I know that a large percentage of the following just doesn't see those posts.
Right. Yeah, the powers that be are shielding them from the shit.
Right.
Yeah,
so
we already know.
It's no biggie, guys. All of the albums are available. The Art of Atheism is an 11/11 donation, Lost at Home, and The Field of Beast is 12/12. Okay, that's $1. It's basically $1.01 per beat. Okay, of course, if you want to donate more, absolutely, we of course appreciate it. We need it because this is how we feed ourselves. So just know that whenever you donate, anytime you donate, you always get the the resulting series. So anybody, if you got the Field of Beasts, you don't have to continue donating $1 to get all episodes. just let me know you got Field of Beast. Just send, whatever you had to do. If you just send me a confirmation or, just say, hey, I bought the Field of Beast. Can you send me the thing? It's no big deal. I just shoot you the link over. And don't be afraid to send me an email because for the proof of purchase. I know a lot of times it's really weird where I know that somebody has, somebody has donated, I've had a guy who'll donate $50 and then he'll donate $1. No, bro, you're good.
Right.
Right. You're good. You don't have to keep donating $1, bro. I got you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So just know that, guys, if you donate to the Field of Beast, you will be able to pick up, you'll get episode 9, which is still exclusively hidden. And then you'll get the finale, which I'll be finishing up here the next 2 weeks. And you'll get those included when you get the album. So don't worry about having to donate for those extra videos. And with that being said, the DVD series to the Lost at Home is going on pre-order today, basically. And you'll have until 11/29. So you'll have until the end of next month to get it for $25. After that, it will be $35. So just know I will be pulling Lost at Home off YouTube. And I will be repackaging it, which means you'll be getting 1, 2, 3, and the finale. And I'm actually going to be doing another one, okay? A deeper one. It'll be better than all of the ones before because, believe it or not, I made all of the Lost at Homes on my phone. So this will be the first Lost at Home that I actually make on a computer. So that's why I'm waiting a little bit more time to release it so I can give you guys just a newer, crispier, better, more information version of the same stuff, even though you're going to get way more new, way new material. It's not going to be old material. It'll be all new information as well. And I'll also have a lecture attached as well as a study guide within any email download. So what happens is if you purchase, you also get an email download. That means you get digital copies, which means you don't have to have a DVD to show it anywhere. You can just pull it up. Okay. And then also you'll be able to get, basically it's like a study guide. So a lot of the slides that you saw on Lost at Home, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have PDF files of all of that information. So if there's anything you want to send to somebody or any quick reference information, you'll have it right there at your fingertips. And so Lost at Home pre-order is going until 11/29. All right. And then after the Lost at Home pre-order, we'll be doing the Field of Beast pre-order in the beginning of December. And at the beginning of December, or maybe just before then, Smartest Beast in the Field will no longer be available to the public on YouTube. You can only get it through DVD. And of course, if you get the download, you can still see it. So don't worry about it. If you have a download and you're out and you don't have the DVD on you, you can still pull it up on YouTube. But I'm going to be deleting all of those links and I'll be re-uploading them privately. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. Bro, I appreciate you for joining us. Is there anything you want to leave the people with before we go?
I think we covered most of it. You know what I'm saying? Much love to everybody. You know what I'm saying? We still working.
No doubt, bro. No doubt, bro. All right, man. Hey, man, I'm going to finally let you get to work. This is probably only supposed to be a 30-minute conversation. It turned into 2 hours.
Oh, it's all good, man. Yeah, I'm over here sitting in the parking lot at the store and shit. So it's all good.
Oh, bro, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking some time out this morning to talk to me. We didn't even get to have one of our marathon conversations about football like we do. But it was good. It was good just to be able to talk about the real shit, which is our work, our creativity, what we have passion for, man. And I appreciate, spending time with me, man. I appreciate your work, man.
Hey, man, likewise, brother, man. It's real special, man. I feel real blessed. You know what I mean? So. Yeah,
man, you a blessed brother, man. You talented, man. You talented as shit. Every time somebody asks me, which is crazy, somebody hey, what do you listen to? Who's, I hate that. First of all, I hate that question. Don't ask me what music I just don't, sometimes I feel like that's kind of like a personal question almost. I don't even, I don't even like ride. I don't even like listen to
money you make or something.
Yeah, I don't even like riding in the car and listening. What'd you say?
It's like asking you how much money you make or who you voted for.
Yeah, bitch. Yeah, that's a personal question. Yeah. Stop.
Yeah.
Don't ask me about my music. But when I do actually say something, I'm like, I listen to DaaayTripper, my brother. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
hell yeah.
that's my nigga. That's who I listen to.
Right. yeah.
I don't know why that question annoys me so much, but it does.
Yeah. It's like they trying to gauge where you at or something.
Yeah.
It's like a status question or something. It's weird.
It's like, you're not, trust me, just because I tell you, like, you can try to figure out who I listen to see who I am as a person, you're just not going to happen.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, you're just interested in me. Nah, you'll have to give
and on the flip, it could be because, a person doesn't think for themselves and doesn't have their own shit. They want you to recommend something. Like, you're right, just go out and find something on your own that you like. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about what I like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Well, shit, we out of here, bro.
All right, man. I love you, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bro. I appreciate you, bro.
All right, bro.
All right, I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. Make sure, whenever you get a chance, check out The Smartest Beast in the Field of Beasts album. It is just a 12/12 donation. The proceeds support my brother. And from the bottom of both of our hearts, we really appreciate the support that you guys give us. Something that we often talk about is like how much the support from you guys drives us to pull extra things out of ourselves. And we're most appreciative for that. So with that being said, 2 pats to the chest, 2 fingers to the sky, all praise to the Most High. Until next time, I'll holla. Shalom.